Yo, hey guys, it is Simon the Gamer 2010. So the last episode I taught you mostly the basics and render cycle kind of thing. So this episode we're going to open the file we rendered last time. I'm going to add a skin to it and show you how to render everything correctly. So let's just find the folder. I saved it in. Okay. So we're going to open it up, and this is what we made last episode. You can click to watch it right now. I guess I'll put a link. Whatever. Anyway, so now that we're here, I'm going to teach how to add a skin, at least to the FMR 4.0 rig. This should be the same for most rigs. When you click on this, there'll be these options over here. You're just going to click on FMR 4.0, and there's going to be an option that says skin file in red or orange. You're just going to click that, and then find the skin you want. This skin only runs 1.8 skins. And you can leave a hat on. I'm just going to experiment with a person's skin I'm working on an intro for right now. And we noticed a couple issues. First of all, his eyes are like that. So what I usually do when I do this is I just turn off all these modes except for the mouth. Because most skins don't have a mouth when it's first made. Now, now that we have this done with FMR 4.0 rig, which is this is the same as some rigs, maybe not above, but if you go to the settings, it should be an option. But you can mess with the mouth and make the mouth smile. I'm just going to make him smile for right now, so it's good demonstration purposes. Now, what we're going to do is turn on the hat layer. And most of you, when you render it, you're going to run into two issues. Let me actually render it first. And, okay, that's good. Now, when you render it with my settings, there's going to be an issue we're going to run into. But first thing, we want to add proper lighting. So we're going to go create physical sky, and there's going to be this option over here. Select the rotating tool and select a physical sky. And this little dot right here, think of that as the sun. And when you move it around, that's where the sun's going to be. So if I want there to be more lighting on the back side of him, I'd move the little blue dot to that side, or the green dot. But we want the little sun thing to be a good angle, so we just moved him, or moved it. I don't like calling him. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to go to Effect, Ambient Occlusion, and Global Illumination. And these are the highest quality settings you can go, but I usually half the settings. But this is how long it takes just to render this. Now, the issue most people run into is, oh, his whole face doesn't look right. The hat's covering over the head layer. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the effects again, click on that. And then ambient occlusion, we're going to turn on evaluate transparency. And if I render it again, you notice that it's fixed. Now, we're going to run into another issue, and that took me 4 seconds to render, and that's actually kind of a lot, especially when you're rendering this with the world. So here's what we're going to do. Go to Global Illumination, click on it, and then go to Irradiance Caching, I don't know what to call that, and change the top two settings to say medium to low. And then go to Ambient Occlusion and change all the settings, just half the settings. So if it was 100, change it to 50. 50, change it to 25, so on and so on. Just half all your settings. And now you notice this should take a lot faster. 2 seconds. I just halved all the settings, and now it took half the time to render this. Applause to myself. So then we have this. It looks pretty nice. Now you notice the more we zoom in to the character, the more detail we have on the how everything's going on. Also, with our settings, global illumination allows shadows to happen under the hat layer. Now, the other thing we're going to do is go to save, change this. If you're rendering an animation, I promise you, QuickTime Player is faster and better looking, in my opinion, than saving as a PNG. That's just my opinion. I'm pretty sure it's faster, but I always have it on QuickTime Movie. You can just install it. It's a free program on your computer. I don't really use it besides render settings options. And then I'm just going to save this as you suck. Okay, perfect. Now, we're gonna go to output and change this. This is my render settings, which is 1600 by 900. And okay, and when we're rendering an animation, we always want it on all frames. Now we're just gonna keep it on current frame right now. Now we're also gonna add a camera to the scenario, so we can actually, yeah, you can also click that. It adds the camera, but what we're gonna do is how to go into the camera's views. You press this little square button, and then when you click on it, boom. Now you're in the camera's position, and you look around as the camera. Now we're just gonna move to the position we want, and then press this little keyframe button, which we learned the last episode. Go to the ending of the animation, which is about 60 frames, I think, and then move around, right position. And then boom, we have him right there, and he's walking. And that's how you make a decent camera do its thing. Now, if we wanted to, we could make it look a bit more realistic and make the camera kind of move up and down a little bit. If we wanted to. I don't usually like to do that, but I think it looks nicer this way. But if you want to make it look realistic, you move the camera where the head is. Now, let's say we only want the camera to look at the character. We don't actually want it to follow it. We're going to delete that other keyframe we made. And click on camera. Now we're going to go to, where is it? Option here. Chords. I'm going to delete this camera and then make a new one, and hopefully this will work. Otherwise, my life sucks. Okay. Now that there's an option, well, I'll figure it out later. Anyway, so like I said, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that right now. If I ever find out how to fix it, then I will. But anyway, so let's say we want to make the camera, I guess, more specific. I guess I can't really do what I was going to show. Well, anyway, so now we have our character. We can reanimate the camera by pressing this button. You can either leave or out. The way you can tell if you're out of the camera is if you can actually see the camera, unless there's been multiple cameras in the scene. Now, let's say we're just going to move the camera, like I said. Click up the camera keyframe. 60, okay. Let's move the camera. Perfect. Now that we have that done, let's add a world. Now, I'm not going to teach how to get a world exporter and export the world and everything. I probably will have a link in the description to find a video like that to teach how to use Mindways and stuff. But I already have a pre-made world that I've already done. I'm just going to click merge, and then should be an option. Stuff's super freaking organized. Minecraft things, world. Now, I have my world. I just added it in here, and you notice this should be the same scenario with Mindways. Is that super small, man? And there's also no textures. Wait, is there? Okay, well, if you exported a Hunger Games map, there's going to be a dome. We're just going to delete that. Now click on your null, or this object. Now, size it up. How I usually do it is, I go to chords, and then make this 450. Copy, Control V, Control V. Okay, perfect. And then we'll see how big that is. We're just gonna move the camera. This should be about the right size. Yeah, about 450, guys. That's the right size. About right there. Okay, so now we have our little character and added to the world. We're just gonna, like I said, with chords, you can actually move around the world without having to actually press on the little line button. Okay, perfect. Now we go back to camera view, and we have our character walking. Now, I guess you could watch a tutorial, but I usually delete any object where the background's black and and not transparent, or replace the object with a different file or whatever. But I'm just gonna delete the grass and stuff, and that's it. And let me find the other thing I was gonna delete. Yeah, that's about all. And now if you notice when I render this, it might take a bit longer because I have a bigger world in here, or an actual world. But the render should look pretty nice. Now, this should just be for if you're rendering with these settings for with a big world like this with my settings, you might want to reconsider this. Now, let's say you've run into this issue where, oh no, it's taking me 30 seconds to render just one frame. Now, physical sky is nice, but what you can do is go to basic, and then turn off the sun, and then add your own lights, which, let me just do that really quickly. You can click on lights, move the light to your position, and now make sure it's out of the scene, or maybe where the sun would have been. Now go to general, and then I usually like to make it a nice orangey color, maybe a warm color, I guess. That's good. Turn down brightness, I'll maybe make it a bit lighter. Okay, that's good. Now if we re-render it, if you notice, it's taking a little bit less time to render because it's not having to render the whole world as all affecting the lights. But looks pretty good. Different world exporters have the world looking better, the textures looking better, worse, I don't know. I use Mindways. But anyway, that's the first episode. Like I said, you can go to these settings and edit these. Like I said, you can go here and then render a whole bunch. And then yeah. So hope you guys like and subscribe. Sorry if this episode wasn't super helpful with animating wise, but this did help you get a world into the area, add a light, add a correct light source, 2 types of light sources, and add a hat to a character without the hat layer overlapping the head and making it look wrong. And I'd say those are pretty useful stuff. Well, anyway, hope you guys like and subscribe, and bye!